Welcome one and all to another edition of the Defo Show with Lubie right here on the 5 Reasons Sports Network. Each and every day brought to you in part by the wonderful people at Water Cleanup of Florida. Are you a South Florida property owner with an insurance claim? Or even before you get there, have you noticed things around your house are a little off? You look up in the roof. There's like a smell. Before you have that feeling, because my first reaction is to feel before I think and do. Don't even have that feeling. Don't get anxious. Don't get nervous. Take a deep breath and realize, there's Water Cleanup of Florida. Yes, if there's any water, fire, mold damage to your home, whether it's disaster or just life, give Water Cleanup of Florida a call. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They're available to you. One-stop shop. They will assess the situation, and with their licensed contractors, they will correct it, fix it, make your life so much easier. Give them a call, 954-579-0356, or check them out, WCUFL.com. Also mention 5 Reasons or Lubie, and they will give you a free inspection during business hours. With over 60 years of combined experience between Michael, Robert, and their team, plus 65 plus 5-star reviews on Google. You don't have to do any of the research. You don't have to stress out about it. An issue with your home can just be that, not disaster, not the end of the world. No, stuff happens. Cool. Water Cleanup of Florida will come out, figure it out, and fix it for us. We don't have to worry about it. Again, just give them a call, 954-579-0356. And you can check them out on their Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter at Water Cleanup FL. Water Cleanup of Florida. We clean up your schmutz. It is a Kicking It Old School Wednesday with the one and only Tony Segreto. Now, the draft is tomorrow, and the Dolphins don't have a first, second round pick. They have an end of third round pick. What does it mean? It means, okay, the Dolphins are trying to win now. And that's a good thing. It may be boring, but a boring draft may be finally good for the Dolphins. We talk about the draft in the past, as Tony's been covering drafts for years, the Miami Dolphins draft for years. Talk about the draft present and future and the Miami Dolphins on today's edition of Kicking It Old School with Tony Segreto on the Defo Show with Lubie on the 5 Reasons Sports Network.
What we gonna do right here is go back, way back into time.
We are now kicking it old school with the one and only Tony Segreto. Brought to you by Catholic Health Services and Texas Roadhouse.
Tell me, doctor, where are we going this time?
Welcome to the Defo Show on this fine Wednesday, and we're going to start it out on this abridged edition with a little old school with Tony Segreto. Well, we welcome Tony to the show every Wednesday, and it's always a pleasure to have the longtime broadcaster here, sports, news, whatever, the sports machine. He did it all, covered virtually every event that's ever taken place in the history of modern American sports. The great Tony Segreto joins us here on the show. Tony, how are you, my friend?
Doing great. I have to tell you that we had so many people. You know, it's funny. When I was on television, I would get like bizarre letters about like, where do you get your ties? Where do you get your suits? And things like that. So, I would always do my best and try to respond to them and be kind. After last week's show, we got a number of emails and responses from people who loved Lubie's shirt. So it was like a little cowboy shirt, like a Roy Rogers shirt.
Yeah.
and loved the look of the black hoodie. And we decided that, we're just going to wear it again this week.
Exactly.
Lubie had that outfit left over from Halloween. He was wearing that while he was trick-or-treating with his lovely wife, Shirley. So that was great. All right, we're on the threshold, Tony. And there was usually a lot of buildup and a lot of conversation, a lot of anxiety, a lot of angst about what the Miami Dolphins were going to do in the draft. And we thought a couple of years ago, we were sold on the whole concept that, well, you know what, we're going to stink for a couple of years, but we're going to have so many draft picks by trading all of our good players and the Laramie Tunsels and all of these various people, Fitzpatrick. I mean, so many different guys that they dealt away that went on to very, large accomplishment in their early stages in the NFL. And this is how we were going to build a team. And then he drafted a bunch of guys, including their quarterback, Tua, with one of those lofty draft picks. And then all of a sudden, the direction has changed so completely that we don't even have like a draft pick this year. The Miami Dolphins.
That first round is not going to be a friendly round for Dolphin fans at all. I mean, like,
what do you do? I mean, the flowers are in a punch before they even start.
You can watch TV Land and the reruns of the Andy Griffith Show until the second round starts. I mean, it's like, it's kind of hard to imagine. But I think, I think that they feel like they have everybody. I think that they feel they have the people in place to start the season. And I think that the picks that we do have will be placeholders. Will be okay. We need a backup here. We need a backup here. And you know what? If it's a boon, if it's a boom for us, maybe we wind up getting a starter. Who the heck knows? But right now we feel. I got to believe that that's their thinking going in. Now, whether they admit that publicly or not is another thing. But when you don't draft until what
102nd,
the 102nd pick,
end of the third
the
round.
second round
is their first selection.
Third round. That's right. I mean, that's crazy, absolutely crazy. But then we should look and see, which I have not done, and shame on me. Who is there some great third round picks that the Dolphins have had? And I mean, certainly some.
It's possible to get a player.
Yes.
I mean, the thing of it is, there's so much hype about the first round of the draft, and the Dolphins have been picking highly in the first round because they haven't been very good. One of the big complaints always, and you probably heard a lot of this, and I don't know how many phone calls I tried to fend off from people, and they had a point, which was, the Dolphins were always sort of mediocre. They never bottomed out to the point where they had the chance to get one of these franchise-changing, generational quarterbacks.
Yep.
And even though they've had their chances to do that over the last 25 years or so, since the Marino retirement, 23 years, they have just let these guys fall through their grasp, including, the great Tom Brady. But they've had chances. They had a chance at Aaron Rodgers.
Matt Ryan.
They whiffed, man. I mean, they took Ronnie Brown, a running back of inconsequential significance overall in the history of the NFL, and left Aaron Rodgers on the board, who was sitting there. Everybody thought he was going to be the number 2 pick when he got off the bus.
Yeah.
They've made colossal mistakes, which leads to the whole thing about maybe it's better they don't have a first-round pick because they can't blow it.
Yeah, exactly.
Has been their history in the past.
Can I tell you something? That's exactly what my son and I talked about.
Yeah.
I said to my son, I go, do you realize the Dolphins don't have a number 1 pick? And he goes, yeah. I go, well, at least we know they can't blow it.
Yeah. Matt Ryan, Aaron Rodgers. I mean, please, could have had either of those guys.
Yeah. So, But I mean, again, I give them credit. I mean, they're sticking with Tua. They're like it or not, they're being stubborn about it. And I hope I'm wrong. I hope I am so wrong that what they're doing. But I just don't know if he's that generational quarterback that's going to make the difference. Is he going to be that journeyman, that guy who gets you to, a playoff game and maybe win a playoff game, but never quite get you to that promised land, never quite have that electric moment. You mentioned last week when we were talking about Marino, how you always thought you were in it. You always felt, that no matter what. I don't know if we ever will feel like that. I hope we do. I really do. He's a fine young man, and I wish him all the best, and I hope for Dolphin fans and all of us that he becomes that quarterback. I just do not know. I don't have a feel.
Well, look, and when it comes to the outlook on this draft compared to other drafts, Defoe's talked about it, like the tanking sucks, right? We hate the tanking. No one wants the tanking. Well, you tank for this. You tank for, if you're going to do the tanking, a year or two, and then you accrue the draft picks to go get players. Okay, so, and the only time these days, for the most part, most teams are really successful is when a quarterback is on that rookie contract, because what it allows you to do is pay everyone else because your quarterback's not getting paid. So while Tua's on that deal, You sort of have to go for it. Either he will rise to the occasion, which I think he will. I mean, there's so much talent around this team, and it's built literally for what he's good at. You know, like get the ball out of his hand quick, get it in their hands, let them go make plays. Literally what they did at Alabama that everyone said, well, he has so much talent. That's not fair. What is that going to do in the NFL? Well, they replicated it. So if it worked at Alabama, why can't it work here? Or you get rid of him. Next year's draft should be ridiculous. They're back to having a ton of picks. You now have a lot of guys that are signed for a few years, and you go get another young quarterback with that rookie deal with this team. So either way, to me, it's a win-win. I think it was for Tua. I appreciate that they have a coach that 100% has done everything the opposite of what Flores did. They're at all of his events. They're giving him confidence. They're doing everything that the Bengals did with Burrow and the Chargers did with Herbert. And you're seeing all these young quarterbacks that are actually having success. Their organizations have lifted them up. Flores didn't.
Yeah.
Flores didn't.
I agree.
During the time and
That's
now.
what-
So it's nice to see that, and I think it'll help him out.
Good leaders do that. They lift up their employees. They lift up their athletes. They make them better. I agree. You know, then the question comes, and again, I am not being a Debbie Downer.
No, you're
here.
being realistic.
So let's do all we can. Let's give him every tool that we can give him. What happens when it's 3rd and 7? You know, with a minute and a half left. Do we make that play? It's when it comes down to him making the play. Do we make that play? So I am hopeful. I really am. I'm excited about this season. I'm excited. We talked a couple weeks ago about the University of Miami, especially after the spring game. I'm really, really excited. You know, it's someone tweeted the other day. You know, the tweet was something to the effect of, you know, I always wonder how everything is going to be at the University of Miami in terms of football. And then I look at this picture behind my desk, and the picture was one of Mario Cristobal, Jason Taylor, and Ed Davis. And I mean,
Ed Reed, yeah.
Ed Reed,
Yeah,
Ed
it's a
Reed,
nice triangle.
and you know, and you look and you go, huh. And then you say to yourself, okay, but because we've talked about great athletes not being great coaches. You know, Jason Taylor has coached, you know, St. Thomas University, St. Thomas High School. He's coached his kids. He knows what it takes to coach the younger people and to, you know, tell people, explain to an athlete what it takes to work and be successful. Ed Reed's that same type of, you know, had to work real hard to become who he was, and both Hall of Famers. I think what we see going on in Coral Gables and what we see going on with the Dolphins are reasons to be optimistic and excited. You know, the draft isn't going to provide the excitement. So let's not even talk about it.
So funny. I mean, well, what a reversal of roles
so
here.
different than the
Lubie's
last 2
running
years.
around with pasties and a G-string saying, "Fake me."
I know, I'm positive.
I have my pom-poms out for the Phins, and Tony's
So weird.
reserved about this. One thing you're not reserved about, Tony, though, is and our fine sponsor, and almost, you know, with us from the origins of Old School with Tony Segreto, Texas Roadhouse Restaurants.
I cannot say enough about Texas Roadhouse. I cannot talk more. I can't just put any more accolades on them. And I'm going to talk about this thing. If you haven't been to the Texas Roadhouse, make it a point to go. Just try it. That's all we ask you to do, is try it. And I promise you, you're not going to get sticker shock. You're going to get a good meal. You're going to have a great time. But here's the key. I can't remember a time, no matter when it is in the middle of the week, during the week, where it's not crowded. So I know that most of you don't want to wait. Most of you are impatient. You know, God bless my good buddy, Joey Kornblit. Patience is not one of his virtues, and we laugh about it. So what you do is you download the Texas Roadhouse app. You put in how many people's in your party, when you'd like to go, and they're going to get back to you and tell you how long you have to wait. You can wait at home. And when you have, however far away you are from Texas Roadhouse, you go to Texas Roadhouse, and you may have to wait 10 minutes, but you're going to get your table right away. And the service you're going to get is going to be exceptional. The food, exceptional. The bill, even better than exceptional. I promise you when I tell you there isn't anything bad. The coldest beer in town, best margaritas in town, best rolls in town. And in terms of your meal, whether it's steak, salmon, chicken, it doesn't matter, whatever the case might be, Texas Roadhouse is your place to go. Ask Lubie, ask Defo. Both of them are foodies. They will tell you flat out it's their restaurant of choice when people ask them, where do you want to go for dinner?
Honestly.
Right, guys?
Yep. I don't even think
Oh, it's a great place. I mean, how they do it is beyond comprehension. Keep the prices down like that. Just amazing. All right, Mike Lubie Lubitz, we have a little procedural issue here. And what are we going to take a little break here? Okay, good. With Tony Segreto, old school, because I didn't want to mess up your train of thought here and even take a time out. You're on a roll. So we'll be back with more with Tony Segreto in a moment. If poker is your game, you're covered in style. And you can play all your favorite Vegas-style games, including blackjack, craps, and roulette, in Hialeah Park's sizzling hot casino. Get a player's card when you walk through the door for all kinds of generous amenities, including our favorite, free play, when you come out to the ultimate casino and entertainment destination, Hialeah Park.
These days, we're all looking for comfort anywhere we can find it. Thank goodness for Landlubbers Raw Bar and Grill in the Plantation location, because they are making sure you are as comfortable as possible. You're going to have the best wings in the world. You're going to have a great burger. You're going to have their amazing soups. Again, Landlubbers Raw Bar and Grill. It's nice and easy. Just go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both your pickup and free delivery. Thank goodness for Landlubbers for making you always feel right at home.
Catholic Health Services is committed to care that changes as your needs do. Our full continuum of services is designed to be there throughout your care journey. If you need assistance with daily living, post-acute care following a serious health event, or additional medical care at home, we also offer skilled nursing and palliative and hospice care. Your care needs may change, but our commitment never does. Catholic Health Services, South Florida's #1 choice for post-acute and end-of-life care. Visit CatholicHealthServices.org.
What do you think in this one, Tony? You'll be handicapping. Will you be laying points? Will you be taking points?
I'm really struggling with who I want to win. You have Joe Burrow, who's just the quintessential. He's the second coming of Montana. That kind of good-looking, unflappable, just can get for 3 quarters, get the snot kicked out of him, and then that 4th quarter still get up off the mat. Certainly the definition of what Muhammad Ali said, the definition of a champion is how many times you can get up off the mat. And to see Joe Burrow do that with an offensive line that's filled with matadors, it's remarkable.
Matadors. Listen to you, Tony.
Well, yeah, every single one of those offensive linemen play Olay.
They come into that song, Olay, Olay,
yeah.
I cannot fly.
Yeah. You got to admit that. So.
9 sacks against Tennessee.
We are now kicking it old school with the one and only Tony Segreto. Brought to you by Catholic Health Services and Texas Roadhouse.
They should just call me the executioner the way I'm picking these basketball games for people so far. 1-4, Tony, against the spread.
Yeah.
Documented picks.
We were talking about the draft, and how last week we talked about the fact that when we covered the draft, no one even knew what they didn't even know when the draft was, much less covered it. And then all of a sudden it's become this show. Well,
the pick came by like Western Union Stagecoach.
Yeah.
Hey, who is it? Duper? Who the hell is that?
Carrier pigeon. Pigeon. Anyway, the same thing now has happened to. I don't think 15 years ago. The most avid, I don't care how avid, the most avid college football fan of a special team or whatever, if you would have asked them, when's the spring game? I don't think anybody would have known. Now they're not, it's just not everybody knowing. It's on TV. They're televising all the spring game. And then they have reruns. Yes. It's absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. Yep. And everybody gets excited, and we want to see the new quarterback, we want to see the new scheme, we want to see the new coaches in action. It's really amazing what television and social media has brought to athletics, both collegiately. I mean, we're taking recruiting like you do the draft. I mean, you're looking at these, 4-star, 5-star, where's Arch Manning going to select? Oh, God. Where is this guy going to go? Where is this guy from, Central Catholic going to go? It's incredible. Absolutely incredible.
Well, the mind-boggling part is, my favorite is in the newspaper the next day, the grades for each team and for your team. And, they selected like 3 guys. and they're giving them like a B minus, and you're thinking, whoa, B minus. I would have taken that at any time when I was in school, but. Nonetheless, I mean, nobody knows what's going to happen, what's
No.
going to really transpire. We've seen that in evidence so many times. I mean, did you really know Peyton Manning was supposed to be a cinch? We didn't know that right away necessarily. And, of course, that was part of that Ryan Leaf-Peyton Manning debate where whoever had Ryan Leaf in the argument turned out to be dead wrong.
Right.
And there's just so much information out there. I always thought it was odd that the scouts were so far off.
Yeah.
In professional football, that you could have a team that has however many people in their scouting department, and that they couldn't recognize talent because I don't know. I mean, the average fan takes a look at certain guys and go, "Wow, I think that guy's really going to make it." If you have any kind of an eye for it, and you're wondering how guys that are professional at this, that spend all their time assessing these sort of things, can talk themselves into taking so many stiffs when it comes around to drafting.
Think about the Hall of Fame athletes that this Don Shula's and the Chuck Knowles and the Bill Walshes had, and this was before combines. This was before anything. This was all done based on intuition and what they saw.
Well, you did have less teams though, also, which you would have to consider
Right.
because now you're spreading the talent out a little bit more thinly.
Right.
But with 32 teams in the league.
Right, but still, I mean, these, Joe Thomas, God bless him, boy, he was a great judge of talent. And a lot of times it wasn't whether you could run a 40 or leap higher than anyone else. It was all about what was in here, what was in your heart, what kind of
Can the guy play?
football IQ. Yeah. What can he not only play, can he play when the chips are down? Can he play when it's, nut cutting time? When you got to say, okay, here's you got to make the play. And who's going to be that guy? So,
I am amazed at how they whiff on so many different players. And then,
yeah.
the tragedy of the Miami Dolphins, of course, and we talked about it last week a little bit. I mean, they had the number 2 pick. You had, two guys, Alex Smith and Aaron Rodgers, were going to go 1-2. Everybody was certain of that. And what was that, like the 2005 draft already?
Yes,
Talking
yes,
17 years ago.
Yes.
Okay, so Alex Smith, you're cheering, you're so in anticipation. The Phins have the number 2 pick. The Niners take Alex Smith, and you're saying, yeah, because I think Rodgers is the better of the 2 guys, and he drops all the way down into the 20s. His girlfriend leaves him, which may be part of the reason that he seems to spin off women as quickly as he throws like a screen pass. Because remember that? I mean, it was a tragic scene. They had him. He was out at a table there, and pick after pick went by. Nobody was taking Aaron Rodgers, and he had this like hot little blonde girlfriend that I guess he was with in college. And the next thing you know, she's holding hands with his agent, and he's back in the green room there, sobbing into a towel.
Yeah, but the same thing in terms of we didn't take Aaron Rodgers. The same thing happened to us on the other side. We were how fortunate were we that Dan Marino dropped as low as he did, right?
Well,
so we were able,
one of the all-time classics.
Yeah, so we were able to and you don't think the people in Green Bay are saying, if it wasn't for the Dolphins passing on him and the other teams passing on him, we never would have had Aaron Rodgers. So it's just the way, just the way.
How can you be that wrong, though? I mean, that's
Every time.
Brady is one thing. He kind of evolved after college, but how can you be that far off to think that you needed a running back who wasn't even the top guy on his Auburn team at the number 2 pick? When you could have, and who did they have? They had like Gus Farrat was their quarterback.
Yeah,
they were thinking, oh well, we're set there.
Oh yeah.
How do these guys have jobs? I mean, after making moves like that, I tell you who does a great job. That's Catholic Health Services, Tony. We can't say enough good things about these people. Just amazing what they do with any form of rehabilitation, whether it's a stroke, you're recovering from knee surgery, whatever it is that you need to come back from. And of course, as I experienced with my mother, I didn't even know they did hospice care. When I found out, I was so happy. And then I turned him on to my brother, who can't stand any kind of bureaucracy and was as frustrated as anybody's ever been in their life trying to deal with the hospitals and things, threatening lawsuits and calling the governor, all kinds of crazy stuff just to get a phone call back. Catholic Health Services stepped in, and all problems were resolved immediately. It was just absolutely remarkable what these guys did.
God bless them. That's all you can say is God bless them. And I get asked this question a lot. Do I have to be Catholic to go to Catholic Health Services? The answer is no. You don't have to be Catholic. Look at Jeff's family, not of the Catholic faith. They take, it doesn't matter. It's all about people. It's all about taking care of the individual, and not just the individual, but taking care of the family as well. We talk about this every week, and we can't harp on it enough. It's that when you bring your loved one into Catholic Health Services for whatever the need is, you're bringing your whole family in there too, because the whole family is going to be involved. They're going to keep you up to date as to what's being done to help get your loved one better, how it's being done, who's doing it. You'll hear from those people. You'll hear from the doctor. You'll hear from the physical therapist. You'll hear from the nurse, not just one person. You'll get a perspective from everybody taking care of that individual. And then when it's time for your loved one to come home, they will give you everything you need to know as to what to expect and what you can do. And God forbid you need to bring them back or you need to call them. They're there at the ready with charts, everything, and they help you. This is an amazing place with amazing people who love what they do, and they do it with an expertise that's unmatched. Catholic Health Services. Trust me when I tell you. Trust Defo when he tells you. It's an amazing, amazing place.
Night and day difference. Tony, always a pleasure. Always
man,
great
Tony.
having you on the show on a
my
bridge
friend.
edition of Old School with Tony Segreto here on the Defo Show during this special week of programming that we're doing on Ion Channel. We'll talk to you again next week, my friend. Looking very much forward to it. Enjoy the draft, and no doubt we'll have some observations on that and the playoffs and everything else that's happening in sports as we do Old School again next week, my friend.
Hopefully by next week they will have made a pick.
We'll see.
They really used to come by like telegram. I mean, the
Exactly.
picks. I remember that. I was like, oh yeah, they got somebody. Okay, who is it? What? Oh, what school? Nobody knew anything about this stuff. All
Lord.
right, Tony,
All
we'll
right,
see you
man.
next week. Lubie,
That's
always a
right.
pleasure.
Love you.
People out there, just fantastic being with you, and stick with us. We'll have more to come tomorrow on the Defo Show here on Ion Channel.
Let's go to eat a damn snack.
Look what they done to my soul.
Once again, thank you to the one and only Tony Segreto on this Kicking It Old School Wednesday with Tony Segreto. Tony Segreto is always brought to you and the world and us by Texas Roadhouse and Catholic Health Services. The Dolphins may not have an early pick. They only have a few picks in this draft. But what they've done is use their picks in the past to build a foundation and accrue talent to win now and in the future, which was the goal. You only tank so long. That's the idea. You don't want to tank forever. So thank you to Chris Greer and company. Still don't know what to do with Chris Greer. I'm still weird about him with the draft. So that's the other thing is I don't know what Chris Greer would do with the draft picks. So at least we have real talent to look at. Look, whenever you're sad about the draft, just look at Tyreek Hill. Look at some Tyreek Hill highlights. Just think about Tua at Alabama when he had a bunch of speed at the wideout position, speed at the running back position, a nice offensive line, and a good defense. Think about what he did then and go, screw the draft. The Dolphins are going to try and win now, and that's a lot better than hoping and praying and wishing for a process. So thank you to Tony Segreto for joining us on this week's edition of Kicking It Old School. We always thank you for finding us, not only here, but each morning. You can check us out 7 to 9. Just Google The Defo Show, DEFO. Check us out on our exclusive content podcast on the Believe Network. Just go to Believe.com, search After Hours. And, of course, all of our South Florida skewed content right here. The Defo Show with the Lubie on the 5 Reasons Sports Network.